Hey guys, it's Allie from Cruise Blog. I just returned from a 1 week cruise on board Carnival Celebration, which is Carnival Cruise Line's brand new ship. I'm very excited today to tell you everything we did and all of my very honest thoughts about the experience. Is Carnival Celebration the best Carnival ship yet? Let's get into it. Carnival Cruise Line is celebrating its 50th anniversary with a gift not only to itself, but to the entire cruise industry. Carnival Celebration is the cruise line's biggest and most modern cruise ship to date. She's the second ship in the Excel class for Carnival, with sister ship Carnival Mardi Gras debuting in 2021 as the first in this new era of ship class. She has paved the way for Celebration to make her grand entrance in 2022. Carnival's snazzy new cruise ship is the perfect way to honor the cruise line's revolutionary impact on the cruise industry, including the introduction of an elevated atrium, festive onboard ambiance, and a major focus on fun. Let's now talk about some of my expectations with Carnival going into this cruise. You might remember that my sister and I sailed on Carnival Ecstasy back in August from Mobile, Alabama, and that was the oldest cruise ship in Carnival's fleet. We hadn't cruised with Carnival in over a decade, so we really didn't know what to expect. And while we did have a little bit of Carnival culture shock with just how wild things could get on board, we really did enjoy so many aspects of that cruise, and that really set us up with the right attitude for going into this cruise on board Carnival's brand new ship. While some cruise lines focus on offering a luxurious and refined and even traditional cruise experience, Carnival's brand has always been centered around family, affordability, and fun. Personally, having the right expectations is key for me when I cruise Carnival. I know I'll be seeing more of a party crowd, I'll be with lots of families, and even see some people who choose to wear pajama pants to specialty restaurants. My expectations are understandably lower when I sail on the most budget-friendly cruise line in the industry. You often get what you pay for, but there's honestly nothing wrong with that. Even if you don't spend a ton of money, you can still have a ton of fun. Just like you don't have to fly first class to have a great airline experience. You know exactly what you're paying for when you choose to purchase an economy ticket or you want to fly on a budget airline. You can't expect to board a Carnival cruise ship and find world-class service, glamorous accommodations, and Michelin star cuisine, but that's just fine. Instead, you can expect to find some of the best fried chicken sandwiches at sea and the ultimate molten chocolate cake. You'll also find a casual, energetic atmosphere that your whole family can enjoy. We found that Carnival Celebration really shines in many aspects, but fell short in a few ways for us. So first, let's dive into the ways that Carnival Celebration really impressed us before we discuss the few areas that definitely left us a little frustrated. First, we'll talk about design improvements. Stepping foot on Carnival Celebration was an experience that I never expected. My prior Carnival experiences were on cruise ships that felt very cramped, dark, and outdated. Sometimes the crowds on board were a little too rowdy and wild for my style of cruising. When I sailed on older Carnival ships, the darkness and the crowds always made me feel like I was stuck in a nightclub or a college bar. The new Excel class ships for Carnival represent a new era of cruising for the brand. And as such, Carnival Celebration feels completely different than any other Carnival ship that I've sailed on before. Most notably, the spaces on board generally didn't feel cramped or crowded at all. We never waited in supermassive lines. That was always one of my biggest gripes about cruising with Carnival. The ship's design cultivates a better flow for movement by spreading out popular designing spaces into the ship's 6 different zones. The aesthetic on Carnival Celebration has also been a huge improvement across the board. You can still find those splashes of bright neon colors that Carnival's best known for, but it's more subdued and it's done in a classy style. In terms of design, the atmosphere on board feels so much more modern and trendy with just a brighter ambiance in the air. Another area where Carnival Celebration shines is with all of her dining choices. And although you won't be finding exquisite 5-star cuisine on board Carnival Celebration, we were super impressed by how many dining choices were available on board. Carnival does quick casual dining better than any cruise line in the industry, in my opinion. For example, Big Chicken serves up crispy, juicy chicken sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you guys, this was almost as good as Chick-fil-A in our opinion. From Pig and Anchor Smokehouse to Guy's Burger Joint and Blue Iguana, we nearly ran out of time to try everything on board. Additionally, almost everything on board is complimentary on Carnival Celebration. Even venues that felt like they were specialty restaurants, like Cucina del Capitano, which is Italian, and Chibang, which is an Asian Mexican fusion restaurant. Both of these are included in your cruise fare, and these were excellent places to dine. We could not believe that they were complimentary, and I honestly feel like on different cruise ships, these would have been considered specialty dining and you would have had to pay. During our time on Carnival Celebration, we also splurged on some non-complimentary dining options such as Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse, Bonsai Teppanyaki, and Emerald's Bistro 1397. The Steakhouse Fahrenheit 555 was a lovely experience where we dined on delicious steaks, sides, and desserts. The ambiance was quiet and classy while the sparkling chandeliers shined above and we sat in big, comfy, velvety chairs. This was a nice change of pace to have a more quiet area on board and a higher quality meal. Although we did enjoy our time here, the food didn't leave us wowed, although we did enjoy our service and the ambiance. For breakfast, we were absolutely in love with Emerald's Bistro 1397. This is located in the Gateway Zone, and we were really intrigued by the breakfast offerings, so that's what we decided to try. We loved that everything was really reasonably priced here, right around $6 each, and it also gave you this cafe experience right in the middle of the ship. We would highly recommend doing that, and we loved going there. On our last evening, we splurged and tried Bonsai Teppanyaki, and this isn't something that we typically do on cruises, let alone at home either, so it was a very fun treat. Seated around a hot grill, we joined 7 others while our chef performed an intricate and interactive show while cooking up our teriyaki chicken and steak. We had so many dining options on board that we rarely ate in the main dining room. Overall, dining on board Carnival Celebration was a huge hit for us. We had to plan out where and when we wanted to eat so that we could squeeze everything in that we wanted to try. And I haven't even mentioned the delicious pizza that you can get, the Carnival panini sandwiches. All of those really nice, quick, casual places on board are perfect spots to just grab a snack for lunch or something before dinner. If anything, I wish we'd had a few more options for lighter fare during our time, and I actually joked to my sister that my lips felt like they were moisturized with grease all week, but that's just what you can expect on a Carnival ship. You're going to get really good and pretty greasy food, but that's what vacation is all about. Next, let's talk about quality entertainment. Previously, I'd never been super impressed with Carnival's entertainment. The headliner shows were really nothing special in my opinion, and all of my previous experiences almost felt like they were done by high school productions. I always really enjoyed the Punchliner Comedy Club and the Piano Bar. While these activities and trivia shows were livelier, the headliner entertainment just kind of came off as a low-budget production on my previous Carnival cruises. But Carnival Celebration smashed any expectations that I had for entertainment on board. The cruise line has absolutely upped its game for these headliner shows. Thanks to a new center stage in Celebration Central, which is an outward-facing atrium located across multiple decks, there were numerous headliner shows each night to accommodate the busy cruise ship. Another highlight for us was the amplified accommodations. While there's enough to do on board Carnival Celebration to never be in your room, we found that our inside cabin was really comfortable during our cruise. Although modestly sized, we had plenty of room to unpack comfortably for the week in 2 large closets. There was an array of hangers and drawers and shelves for us to use. We had so much space that we actually could fit our small suitcases in the closet after unpacking. Our beds were already separated when we boarded, and we found small and very modern looking nightstands for us to use. There were also lights and USB ports available on the bedside. Sailing on a brand new ship means cozying into your stateroom bed knowing that maybe 2 or 3 people have slept in it before you. That just adds a little extra sparkle to your stateroom experience, knowing that it's practically brand new. The bathroom shower was probably the most pleasant surprise for us, as the shower was really huge. Although not necessarily the most important aspect of the accommodations, most cruise ship showers are these tiny little capsules. Some even have those clingy shower curtains that leave water all over the floor. Well, we found that our shower in Carnival Celebrations inside staterooms, they took up half of the bathroom. Overall, we were impressed with the stateroom upgrades, and the spacious closet made the stateroom extra comfortable during the week. The only thing that we wished we had was maybe a small chair so we could sit somewhere other than just on our beds. Now let's talk about Carnival Celebration's shortcomings. Every cruise ship has its flaws, and Carnival Celebration is no exception. Although many aspects of the brand new cruise ship left us very impressed, we were not thrilled with everything. First, we'll talk about frustration in Celebration Central. Although shows at center stage are so fabulous, the seating situation is horrible and chaotic. I appreciate how Carnival tried to incorporate center stage into the celebration zone with an attempt at this open floor plan design, but the design fell flat. There's a combination of chairs, tables, booths, and then staggered stadium seats across the 3-level atrium. To start, there are purposeful stadium-style seats that don't even provide direct views of the stage. Many people need to walk through this space naturally while wandering from one side of the ship to the other. So that means while you're trying to enjoy the show, you're constantly dodging people that are walking right in front of you. For 2 of the main shows, we were stuck in these stadium seats regardless of how early we arrived. This was really frustrating because we could maybe only see 25% of the actual show because so much of it was blocked. Not to mention, Carnival also decided to place their technician and sound booth in this spot that also obstructs the views even more for the stadium seats. Our next disappointment was with the walking path. As someone who loves to walk on cruise ships, especially during sea days, I was looking forward to seeing and trying out the walking path on Carnival Celebration, but unfortunately this was another disappointment for us. The walking path is routed around the ultimate playground, which is located on the back of the ship, and while this might make sense logically to fit all of the sports activities in the zone, the walking path is practically unusable. On the sides, the water park overflows occasionally and dumps water onto the path. You also have kids that are running around everywhere between the slides and the mini golf, which disrupts anybody that's trying to walk or run. And then finally, you have parents and bystanders who are watching as others do the ropes course or bolt, that they obliviously just stand in the middle of the walking path. And we saw so many people that were trying to walk, run, or get exercise in, and they were constantly stopping and weaving around others. So if you're set on using the walking path on Carnival Celebration, you should consider getting up early to get your steps and exercise in before the kids wake up. However, if you wait until later in the day, you can expect to be constantly interrupted. Another disappointment was the stressful dining reservations. And as you know, we just talked about how many wonderful dining options are available on Carnival Celebration, but the reservation system was a little bit more stressful than I would prefer. Since we had anytime dining, we were able to request tables for the main dining room, Cucina del Capitano, and Chibang starting at 5:30 p.m. on the Carnival app. Rumors from others had us worried that we would be waiting more than an hour for a table, so we promptly requested a table every night at 5:30, even if we weren't hungry. We had no idea how long it would take for us to get a table, so we were kind of always on the edge of our seat waiting for the table to be confirmed. We were seated quickly each time, but you also only have 10 minutes to get to your table after you request it, so therefore you kind of have to be somewhat ready while also being prepared to wait because you don't know how long it's going to take. And also, if you don't have anytime dining, you can't request a table at Cucina del Capitano or Chibang until 7:45 p.m. And we heard from a lot of other people that this is when you have a lot of waiting time, and also that just gets to be too late for people with kids. So it seems like there's another opportunity for Carnival Celebration to improve, as many people wanted to try these specialty style restaurants, but they weren't able to eat until 8 or 9 p.m. And if you're traveling with kids, that's just not really feasible. Another disappointment for us was the lackluster Lido Market buffet. While Carnival has some of the best quick casual dining options at sea, I think they possibly have the worst buffet at sea. I've never been impressed with Carnival's buffets, honestly. On our recent Carnival Ecstasy cruise, we were really disappointed in the options that were served at the buffet. We avoided it at all costs. Carnival Celebration was an opportunity for the cruise line to prove us wrong, but sadly this just wasn't the case. In Lido's defense, there were many places on board to try, so the Lido buffet just didn't always seem as appealing to us as other spots. We also liked how it was brightly decorated with plenty of spots to sit. The few times that we did try to eat in the Lido Marketplace, we found there to be not many options, and while you would see multiple stations that were open, they were all serving the same thing, even on both sides. The open floor plan attempt of the Lido Marketplace was also a disappointment for us. This seems like a design oversight, because if you're walking from one area of the ship to the pool deck, you have no choice but to walk through the Lido Marketplace. We saw so many kids running through here in their wet swimsuits and their towels. Can't imagine that it will take too long for this to destroy the carpet. And finally, the so street eats. As someone who loves food trucks and this new trend of food trucks, I was really excited to try out street eats as a new addition to Carnival Celebration. With 4 food stalls, including seafood, bio buns, fries, and kebabs, seemed like a really great spot to grab a snack. But unfortunately, street eats fell flat for us. To start, this section always seemed to have very weird hours. While other spots would be open like Big Chicken or Guy's Burger Joint, you would just naturally expect street eats to be open as well. Some days street eats didn't open until 3 p.m. and they would stay open until 10 p.m. So maybe it's meant to be more of a late night option, but the few times that we wanted to try it, we weren't able to. On the final day of our cruise, we finally saw a chance to try street eats, so we knew we had to. We opted to try the fries concoction and then the chicken satay with fried rice. But I waited probably 10 minutes to get my chicken satay, which is much longer than I waited anywhere else for food, even though the line was pretty short. We also heard that the steamed buns were not good, and I also saw a lot of people who didn't finish theirs when looking around at plates. So overall, the food was fine, but it just didn't live up to expectations for us. I wish the hours had been more accessible. So what are my final thoughts on Carnival Celebration? At the end of the day, we were overwhelmingly impressed with Carnival Celebration. The Excel class ships truly represent a new era for Carnival Cruise Line, and these new ships will undoubtedly attract cruisers who maybe never even considered cruising Carnival before. With a ship as massive as she is, Carnival was able to elevate so many aspects of the onboard experience. The ship was beautifully designed with a more modern, open flair compared to older cruise ships. Carnival's signature dark neon retro aesthetic is replaced with tasteful color accents across the ship. So many dining options keep you wanting more time on board to try everything the ship has to offer. Even after 7 nights, we felt like we ran out of time to try everything we wanted to. And while Carnival Celebration still has the heart and soul of Carnival's fun brand, the ship was better than anything I expected, especially after my previous Carnival experiences. And those small gripes, they're inevitable with brand new ships. We've heard that you need about 6 months for a new ship to become a well-oiled machine, so I do anticipate some of our disappointments will be solved in the near future. And I'm really excited to see how the 3rd Excel class ship, Carnival Jubilee, will be designed, as this is Carnival's first opportunity to make any major design and structural changes for this new Excel class of ships. Carnival Celebration perfectly celebrates Carnival's past, present, and future, with many odes to Carnival's history while innovating and advancing its ship design. This new Excel class ship is seriously elevating the Carnival experience. I wouldn't hesitate to cruise on Carnival Celebration or even try out Mardi Gras, although you might struggle to get me on an older ship after experiencing Carnival's latest and greatest. So that's our very honest review of Carnival Celebration. Thank you so much for listening, and please feel free to comment below if you've sailed on the new Excel class ships and whether you agree or disagree with some of our thoughts on this experience. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe to Cruise Blog so you can be notified every time we have a new video. Happy cruising!